Think I go live. All right, we're live.
Y'all go into the song over here?
Con, I can hear the song.
Yeah, this one. Yeah. You already know what it is. You already know what it is. Shalom, Israel. Shalom. To all blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians, to all my brothers, to all my soldiers, to all the, you understand, the non-coward men out there, I say shalom, Yahweh Shem Yahshua. To all the sisters, I say shalom, Yahweh Shem Yahshua. I'm Officer 1000 out of Yahweh in the I.S.U.P.K, which is the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge. Started at 1 West 125th Street, all in New York, under Commanding General YAHANNA. Understand? And for joining with me right now, we have Officer 1000 Zabaja and Officer 50 SHALAM. You understand? Clap it up for the brothers. Understand? For those that don't know what the I.S.U.P.K is about, who are we? You understand? We're a school where we teach black, Hispanics, and Native Indians the truth according to this Bible. You understand? You will open this Bible all your life. You go to church, to the Christian church, and you'll never get the understanding of this Bible. Well, you know what? Thank God for coming into Johanna and the I.S.U.P.K, because now in Canada, you have exactly the real truth about this Bible. You have the real things that should be missing in the Christian church. You think you're going to church and you really love God, you really understand, you singing about God, you singing about Christ, Jesus, you understand? And you think you're doing something good. You think that you're doing something that's positive and that's according to the Most High. But come to find out, everything that you learn in the Christian church is a goddamn lie. You understand? Come to find out that everything we learn and you understand, all the 50 years that we spent, all the 20 years, 30 years, you understand, 10 years we spent in the Christian church, we have been following lies after lies after lies. And the pastor, you understand, being the greedy bastard that he is, never had the heart for you to, you understand, to tell you, you know what? I'll tell you the truth. I'll bring you aside. This is my money right here. This is my, you understand, my hustle. But I'm gonna bring you on the side and tell you the truth. Understand? Not one pastor ever did so. And this is why I.S.U.P.K, we are here for you, man. This is why we are here, to make you realize what the Bible said and not go according to your own way and not according to what a liar has said to you, man. You understand? So that being said, you understand? Don't forget we live on I.S.U.P.K Canada, No Cowards Canada on YouTube, and I.S.U.P.K Canada on Facebook. We are live right now. Like and share this class, all right? And like you know, like you already know, we're celebrating the Feast of Dedication, the Feast of Lights. You understand? While we're celebrating this, you understand? It's a week for us to be married. It's a week for us to be in brotherhood and sisterhood. It's a week for us, you understand, to elevate our spirit. You understand? Knowing exactly our history and what happened during that week. You understand? Just like our sister Baja did last Sunday. You understand? Opening of the feast. He showed you exactly where the feast come from. He showed you exactly, you understand, stories about courage. The Feast of Dedication, the Feast of Light is also about courage, man. It's also about strength, man. You understand? And that's why also you read exactly the part of the Bible where you could see a mother with seven sons being put to death for not eating pork. That takes courage, man. You understand?
Right.
That takes courage. You understand? You want to follow God. You understand? It's not like the Christian church. It's not about singing hallelujah, saying amen after every sentences. You understand? It's about courage, man. It's about courage, you understand, to put down the pork. You understand? It's about courage when everybody looking at you like you're a weirdo for the way you dress, for the way you speak, for you not doing what the word is doing. It takes courage, guys. I'm going to show you tonight. We're going to talk about Christian. To go in the topic of tonight, we're going to talk about immaculate conception. Because if we keep having the mentality that Christ was immaculate conceived, you understand? If we think you understand that Christ didn't have a father, well, you know what? You don't understand the mission of Christ. And the fact that you can't even speak about, you understand? In your mind, you think that Christ didn't have no real father. So it's kind of normal for you to see a sister being, you understand, being on her own without a man. Because in your mind, you like, well, Christ didn't have a father either. Christ had an adopted father, which is a goddamn lie. And we're going to prove it today. You understand? We're going to show you exactly that Joseph is the father of Christ. I'm going to read you something right quick, all right? Give me a second there. I'll share the link on the chat. Akim, whenever you want to cut me off, whenever you want to cut me off, you understand? Just cut me off, right? Akim, I'm gonna share it. I'm gonna share it on the private chat because I don't know what's doing this. I can put no chat on no comments, but I put it on the private chat, right? All right, shalom, Sister Jules Charms. Shalom, y'all shemata tabashim yoshai. All right. Let me see if I can.
Officer Shah, can you pull up the link that Officer Adiyar put in the private chat bubble, Kashar?
Come, sir.
You understand? So we're gonna see exactly what happened. We're gonna see the roots of it. You understand? Like the Bible tells you, right? The Bible tells you like there's a way for every child. You understand? And the way for every child is the same way that you and I, you understand? You and I were brought in this world through a father, you understand? Through a mother. It takes both to have a child, right? It takes sex to have a child. You understand? Now, people think that Christ was somehow made different. Well, right. It's a little article, a little, you understand, novel that somebody wrote, you understand, which is on point. So I'm gonna read it with you, all right? Select Officer Shaw One. You want to read it?
Come, sir.
All right, go ahead. The water, please.
Come, sir. The first question this article asks is, who is Semiramis? Ancient history tells a very interesting story about a mother and child which eventually becomes a major motive throughout most world cultures.
So hold on, Officer Shaw One. So now you understand? This person right there, this woman right here, you understand, became a pillar for the world religion. You understand? and we're gonna talk about Semiramis. And if you go in the dictionary, if you go on Google, if you go, you understand, you look up Semiramis, you see she was Ishtar, she was Isis, you understand, and so on and so on. You understand? That's where it comes from. Now they know, those people that make the research know exactly where all these people come from. Understand? Where exactly who's Osiris, who's Isis, and so on and so on. Even in the Greek, you understand, pantheon of false god, you have exactly the same people that come back over and over again. You understand? Go ahead.
Come. The mother's name is Semiramis, and her child's name was Tammuz.
Now, Salak, please. Well, is Tammuz? Can we find Tammuz in the Bible?
La, sir.
Can we find Tammuz in the Bible?
La, sir.
Salak, please. Yes, we can. Let's go to Ezekiel chapter 8, verse 13. We're going to see. Soldier, let's go to Ezekiel chapter 8, verse 13.
Come, sir. This is Ezekiel chapter 8 and verse 13.
Go ahead.
He said also unto me, turn thee yet again, and thou shalt see greater abominations that they do. Then he brought me to the door of the gate of the Lord's house, which was toward the north. And behold, there sat woman weeping for Tammuz.
Can you go? Salaki, please. Go back again because you was cutting up over here. I have a question.
Come, sir. Ezekiel chapter 8 and verse 13. He said also unto me, turn thee yet again, and thou shalt see greater abominations that they do.
Now, you understand? This is the most High talking to Ezekiel. He said, look back again. Look what they doing right now. Look at my people, what they doing right now. You understand? Look at this filth that they doing. You understand? Look at what they're doing. While I give them laws, while I give them principles, while I give them morality, while I give them wisdom, while I give them life. Look at what they're doing, Ezekiel. Go ahead.
Verse 14. Then he brought me to the door of the gate of the Lord's house,
which was
temple,
right?
Of the Lord's house, which was toward the north.
Salaki, but that's the Lord's house, that's the temple, right?
Come, sir.
The same temple that we understand we commemorating, we understand the building of the temple today. You understand? So the temple was a pillar of a custom. You understand? That was our main central place where we could be proud and everything. This is why when the temple got destroyed, we felt like we fell. We felt like we've been destroyed. You understand? And this is why, you understand, celebrating this feast of dedication, we dedicate the temple. You understand? Dedicated the temple during the time of Maccabees. You understand? Because that was an important part of a civilization, of our history, of our. So, like, you could go ahead, please.
Come. And behold, there sat women weeping for Tammuz.
Weeping for who?
Tammuz.
Now, if you don't know ancient history, if you don't know exactly, and that part is also in the New Testament also, all right? So, you understand? If you don't know ancient history, you won't know who Tammuz is, understand? You won't understand what he's talking about. Well, you know what? Let's go back to the article, please.
Come. In this article, we will focus on the identity of the mother. Who is Semiramis? According to the historian Eusebius, Semiramis was the wife of Nimrod. In the Sumerian language, her name is Samur Amat.
So Shalaka, please. So now we see exactly. We see Nimrod in the Bible. We see Tammuz in the Bible. You understand? And that same Samur Amat, you understand? Semiramis is the same as Ishtar. Is the same as Isis. You understand? After the article, you could come up with a link, you understand, or a picture of Semiramis. You understand? You see it's the same person as Ishtar, Isis, you understand, and so on and so on. You understand? You could go ahead, man, please.
Come. According to less trustworthy traditions, Semiramis was Noah's granddaughter and both the mother and wife of Nimrod.
Damn. Now here you have it. Here's the Egyptology. You understand? Here's the incest. And this is why, you understand, people in the Christianity believe that, you understand, Adam and Eve were the only people, and after that, Cain and Seth had sex with their own sisters and everything. Cain, and you understand, Adam had sex with his own daughter. You understand? That's not nowhere in the Bible. But that's the custom of the other nations. You understand? That's the custom of the Africans. You understand? You understand? During the time, you understand, during that time, you understand, during the time of Nimrod, those were Africans living. They were the so-called African of today living there. Nimrod was from that family. This is who were, you understand, on power during that time. Just like imagine Obama with Michael, you understand? They were the popular, you understand, couple out there, most powerful couple. You understand? So that is the same thing, you understand? You could picture this. If you could picture Obama, you understand, with his spouse or whatever that thing is, you understand? You could picture exactly Nimrod and Semiramis. But Semiramis was the mother of Nimrod and also his wife. You understand? That's some crazy thing out here. You understand? But that's the custom of the other nation. And this is why we had laws. Now go back to Ezekiel. That's why God is saying to Ezekiel, you understand? Look at those people right there. Look at what they're doing. You understand? While us, we have laws against incest. We have laws against a man sleeping with your own daughter, a mother sleeping with your own child. We have laws against these things, right? But the other nation, they just did as they please. You understand? They didn't have no law. So like, go ahead, please.
Come. According to various legends, Semiramis became pregnant after engaging in an adulterous affair while married to Nimrod.
Yeah. Now, this is why I chose this article. You know why? Because the author of the article tells you exactly what happened. You understand? Right. If you go to ancient history books and everything, they won't tell you that she was a hoe. They won't tell you, I mean, she was a hoe and she had sex with another man while she was with Nimrod. They won't tell you that. They will tell you, you know what? That child was immaculately conceived. And this is where it's stuck. We're going to read it right there. Understand? Obviously, I wasn't going to touch it. But this is what really happened. She wasn't there, understand? Immaculately conceived, no way. You understand? She didn't have sex with no God. She didn't have sex, you understand, with no spirit. You understand? And I'll break down the story once we get to that part, right? And I'll break down a little bit of the story of Nimrod and Semiramis, all right? All right, go ahead, please.
Come. Around this same time, Nimrod dies a violent and untimely death. In an effort to retain power and hide her misdeeds, Semiramis makes a most audacious claim. She publicly declares that upon Nimrod's death, he had been resurrected as the god of the sun.
Sun god. Understand that? So like a priest, like we about to celebrate, like Christian in the world about to celebrate Christmas pretty soon. This is what you're celebrating. You're not celebrating Christ. This is what you are celebrating. This is what we commemorating the building of our temple. We commemorating, you understand, the fact that we beat the behind, you understand, of those Edomites during the time of the Maccabees. This is why we celebrate Hanukkah today. You understand? But you know what? You Christians celebrate what? Nimrod. And them hope. You celebrating you understand, the lie of a hope. You understand? That's what you're celebrating. Go ahead, please.
As the sun god, Nimrod used his sun rays to miraculously inseminate Semiramis with a child.
Damn, there we go. There we go. Now you have it, priest. Now you have exactly the Immaculate Conception. You understand? Of the lying of a hope. It's like if I put it that way. You understand? I mean, right. I could say whore. I could say, you understand? It's a lot here. But that's what it is. All right, so like it's got enough of this, like all right. So she was saying, well, you know what? That child is from Nimrod. Nimrod died. Now we send his sun the rays, and you understand that while I was sleeping, and the sun rays overpowered me. You understand? So on. You understand? And I felt the rapture. I felt raptured. You understand? I felt the rapture of the sun rays, and here you have it. Well, she felt the rapture. But that was no damn sun rays. That was another man. You understand? She felt the rapture. You understand? But that's what it is. That's where it comes from. This is where the Immaculate Conception comes from. It's not in the Bible. You could look from Genesis to Revelation. It's not in the Bible. You understand? There's another story that goes around like this, right? Now, when they tell you like Nimrod died a violent death, I believe they chopped up Nimrod in 12 to 13 pieces, right? According to the legend and everything, when you go in the story, they chopped him up in like 12 to 13 pieces. Now, Semiramis, all the people, you understand, to gather those pieces together. And after that, they got all the pieces together. The only thing that they couldn't find was his rod. You understand? Now, being the nasty deviant of, you understand, of a heathen that she is, the legends say she made a rod or a dildo of wood. Put it on the corpse, you understand? Attach the corpse, you understand? I don't know if she sewed it in, right? You understand, the pieces together. Put the dildo, wood dildo in the middle, and she upped on that dildo. According to the legend, some legend, that's what she did. You understand? Then after that, they'll tell you she miraculously, magically became pregnant. You understand? Because of the witchcraft or whatever, you understand, she was doing. But that's in them lies as well. You understand? She had sex with another man. And that's how Tammuz was born. You understand? That's how Tammuz was born. And who could tell me which Tammuz in Egyptian history? Whose Tammuz in Egyptian history?
Salak, can you repeat the question?
Who is Tammuz?
Salakia, other one.
Who is it in?
Salakia, other one, if I may.
Go ahead.
He was a Sumerian god or deity of vegetation.
Khan. That's who he was, right? But who was it in the Egyptian folklore or history?
Salakia, sir, if I
Salakia.
Go ahead.
Salakia, sir, can you hear me?
Go ahead.
Salakia, Salakia, sir, is he the son of Isis? Salakia, sir, can you hear me?
Khan, I can hear you now.
God, I was asking, is he the son of Isis? Salakia, I'm gonna have to Google it. One moment. Salakia, sir. Salakia.
Salaki, you cutting up a lot over here.
Salakia, can you hear me? Yeah.
Khan, I can hear you. Go hear you now.
Salakia, I'm not sure. You can correct me if I'm wrong, but is he the son of Isis and Osiris or Horus?
Exactly. That's who he is. Understand? Give a hand to officers of Bible. Understand? We got to know these things, Akim. I'm going to tell you where it's necessarily important to you understand, like, also to dwell into, like, you understand, the Sumerian culture and history. Why? Because Sumerian history comes before Egyptology, right? Egypt history. So you always want to know about where their story come from. When those Egyptologists gonna come to you and be like, well, I understand before the Bible, we had our own history, Egypt. Well, Egypt stole it from the Sumerian because they are the same people. It just translated into another language and everything. So that gives even credibility to the Bible and the history of the Bible, where God changed the language and everything of all the people. You understand? During the time of Nimrod, that gives credibility to the Bible because you don't have. You understand? You want to claim that. You understand that you. And who taught the Sumerian? Who was in Sumer and teaching, you understand, archaeology, mathematics, and everything? Who did that?
Salakia, other one.
Go ahead.
Was that Joseph?
La.
Salakia.
Go ahead.
The teacher of the Sumerians, correct me if I'm wrong, Ak, would it be Abraham?
Give him a hand again. You understand? Abraham. You understand? So this gives credibility to the Bible. You understand? Because now we see that our forefather taught the Sumerian. You understand? Taught the people in Sumer. You understand? Even after Nimrod. You understand? Abraham taught them mathematics. Abraham taught them exactly astrology. You understand? Not I want to say astrology, like, you understand, the veneration of false god and the planets and everything. But he taught them, you understand, the season and everything, and so on. You understand, back and forth. You understand? So if Abraham did that, so you always want to know these type of stories like him, because you could destroy an Egyptology, you understand, with those stories. You understand? You could show them exactly. There's stories where there's gods, you understand, idols that the Sumerian had, you understand, that the Egyptian took, and that's where you got your Isis with the wings and everything. You got, you understand, your Horus, you understand, you got your Osiris. This is exactly where they got it from. Because exactly It was a story that was going from the from their nation to the nation family to the from that family to another family. But we were the only one with our own culture and everything, and we kept our own record intact. You understand? So like,
Right.
this is where it comes from. I can. You understand? All those stories. You understand? All the Egyptian story. All the you understand Buddhists and everything, and they all come from there. You understand? It all started there. You understand? With the Sumerian,
Salakia,
with you
priest.
understand ISIS, and go ahead, please.
Uh, what you're dropping is heavy because you're seeing that the Sumerians, right, the Egyptians, the Greeks, the Romans, they all have the same stories, right? Like for the Romans, their god is Jupiter, right? For the Greeks, it's Zeus. Zeus and Jupiter is the same person, right? And
Right.
you can see that all of these heathen nations, they just have the same story going over and over again, but just with different names. It's like
God,
Coke and Diet Coke. It's the same thing. It hasn't really changed
God,
up.
God. Exactly. That's what it is. And the Greeks learned it from Egypt. You understand? The Greeks took it from Egypt, and you understand they just switched the gods into other gods and added, you understand, their own part into, you understand, certain things. But it's all come from there. It's all come from those families. All the false god, all the demigod, all the people in voodoo, you understand, the voodoo worshippers, you understand, Santeria worshippers. This is why This is why in Ezekiel tells you what they're crying for Tammuz. You understand? Because until you understand from Babylon, from Nimrod, way back, you understand, way to Ezekiel, they were worshiping the same thing. You understand? They were worshiping the same people, the same family. Matter of fact, somebody bring me to Jeremiah chapter 7, verse 18, before we go even further in the article. Search into the Sumerian Empire and everything what went on, what type of false god they were doing. It's like they were worshiping, and also the idols that they had. Because with the idols that they had, you could see the similarity with the Egyptian. You could see where the Egyptian got from. You understand, and so on. So you want like even the picture that's depicted in the article with the mother with the child, right? Like the Catholics, you understand, they have the same picture with the mother and the child, and the Egyptologists will say, well, you know what? We had it first. We had it first. You copied from us. Well, you know what? The Sumerian had it first. The Sumerian, you understand, at Semiramis was Ishtar. Ishtar, you understand, was the queen of heaven with Tammuz. It's right there in the archaeology. You could see it. You could search it. You will see it. You understand? So you always want to block those Egyptologists with that. Like you understand, you don't even matter. You're not the start of civilization. The Sumerian was there way before you. Ask any Egyptologist, were the Sumerian right there before you? They will tell you yes, they were. You understand?
Salakia, priest.
Go ahead.
I had
You
something
could go
to
ahead, please.
read. I had a little bit to read on the article of Horus. Whenever you're finished with your precept.
Come. All right, let's get the precept first.
It's the book of
Jeremiah chapter
Jeremiah.
7, verse 18.
Come. It's the book of Jeremiah, chapter 7 and verse 18. The children gather
Go
wood,
ahead.
and the fathers kindle the fire, and the women knead their dough to make cakes to the queen of heaven,
To who?
and to pour out drink offerings unto their gods,
So like
that they
who they were making the dough for?
to make cakes to the queen of heaven.
Now the queen of heaven. Who's the queen of heaven?
Salaki Adawan.
Go ahead.
Ishtar.
Ishtar, Semiramis. We're reading about her right now. You understand? So now in the Bible, not only we see that in Jeremiah, Ezekiel, right? We see in Ezekiel that they were worshiping Tammuz, And they were worshiping. Now, in Jeremiah, it tells you they were worshiping Ishtar, which is which day is it when they celebrate Ishtar today?
Salakia Arwan.
Go ahead.
Is it Valentine's Day?
La'ah.
Salakia.
Hold on, Officer Sabata. You don't fight too much. Let's see if
Ka.
let's see if the other brothers now we can get this one. All right, take off celebrating Ishtar Akim. Where take off the verse that you just read there, Officer Shawan. They were making dough. They were making pastry. You understand? They
Salakia
were.
Arwan.
Go ahead.
It's Mother's Day?
La'ah. You understand?
Salakia, sir. If
They
I
were
could give a
making
clue
like you
for
understand
Barakiala.
cupcakes. Go ahead.
Like when we think about Ishtar, just think of the name itself and what matches up with oppressors' holidays that they celebrate today, right? Ishtar.
Yeah.
Salakia, it's Easter?
Damn right. Give him man. Give
Right,
him man.
right.
Understand? Understand? So you see, now we celebrate Easter today. They were celebrating Easter back in the days. You understand? All this come from those same that same family with Semiramis, Ishtar, Nimrod, Tammuz, and so on. You understand? Most of these fake holidays come from them. They don't come from the Bible. You understand? They come from that family, that particular family. This is where we got most of the feasts that we celebrate today. Which one is gonna come soon, which is December the 25th, but is the birthday of Nimrod. So this is where it all started. You understand? We those two, those that couple right there, right? All right. All on Officer Shawan, Officer Zabaja, you could come with your article about question.
Khan, sir. Khan. So I have we were talking about how the all these heathen cultures, they all have the same story over and over again, right? So we went through the story of Nimrod. We found out that Nimrod was killed, and his supposedly his wife turned around and said that she was pregnant, right? So now when we go to the Egyptians, you can see the story of Horus, right? So when we go to this is you could just Google this. If you just type it in on Wikipedia or in Google, you'll see the origins of Horus. So I'm going to give you a quick read. Salakia, one moment. Let me get with it. 1 second. All right. So Horus was born to the goddess Isis after she retrieved all the dismembered body parts of her murdered husband Osiris. Right. So Isis had this is supposed this now the nuts in Kemet, they believe anything, right? So they believe some woman who is supposed to be a god, right? This is where they get their woman as god from. She's supposed to be a god, and she her husband was murdered. She retrieved his rod from somewhere, and now she got pregnant, right? From a dismembered rod, right? And you're seeing the same story over and over again. You're gonna see it with the Sumerians, right? When they talk about Nimrod and Salakia, I'm trying to remember the other idol that you brought up that's the same as Horus.
Osiris. There's Osiris and Horus.
Right, Osiris. Right. So you're seeing that these gods are the same gods throughout all the heathens. They all have the same
Right.
story. Some woman slept with somebody and then lied to her husband and said, "A god got me pregnant." Right. You see it all throughout Greek history. We know that our oppressor, his woman is the biggest whore on the planet, and apparently Zeus had 20 children with mortals. So somewhere in Greek in old history, 20 women said they were impregnated by some mystery god, right? Salakia.
Right. Right. You understand? That's exactly what it is. You understand? Just to clarify, priest, you understand the rod was the only member that she couldn't find. They didn't find. You understand? Then she like
Right.
Frankenstein the damn Emite. You understand? Stick
Right.
the arms together, stick the legs together. You understand?
Good
Stitch them
night.
up, just like Frankenstein. And you understand when you go into the full details, they tell you like she made a golden rod, a golden dildo.
Right. So, Salakia, Ak.
You understand? And she hopped on that dildo, you understand? Attached to that carcass, hopped on it, you understand? Jumped down low, like she jumped down low on that carcass, you understand? And that's how supposedly she became pregnant. Well, we all know that she had sex with another man and she became pregnant. You understand? But like if I'm gonna be if I'm explicit, a hoe will be a hoe. You
Right.
understand? So hey, you understand? A
So,
hoe will lie. So go ahead, go ahead.
Salakia, Ak. I was gonna say, right, like, and the only reason blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans are Christians are because of oppressors, right?
Right.
Because some oppressor put us through slavery, destroyed us, and told us that we're now Christians and these are the stories we have to believe, right? And I say that to say this because throughout Christianity, you see that you wonder where Christians get this immaculate conception from, right? And you find out that one thing the oppressor, our oppressor did, he fell in love with Kemet. He fell in love with Egypt because Egypt is a bunch of homosexuality and our oppressor is a homosexual, right? If you go to Washington D.C., right, you'll
Uh,
see what they call the Washington Monument, right? It's really a phallus, right? A phallus is a
right.
it's another word for a rod, right?
Obelisk.
So, Lucky, if I'm a little long-winded, I'm gonna wrap it up right now. But you're gonna see that this is a phallus. This is the same thing that ISIS was supposed to be looking for. The thing that the only thing that she found, and you'll understand that our oppressors are homosexuals because they put in their capital a big rod. Salakia.
God. You understand the obelisk, and this is where it comes from. Matter of fact, you understand, just like I was saying, that's the only part that of the body of Nimrod that they couldn't find. You understand the rod? So that's where the obelisk comes from. You understand?
Right.
Which is a which is just a giant dildo. You understand? You understand? You understand? You want to give credibility to your empire? You put a giant dildo for everybody to see. Israelite, man. You understand? Thank God we are Israelite. We are not no damn heathen. You understand? We don't worship no phalluses. You understand? We don't worship rod and everything. But this is what those are the culture was doing. We're doing. In the you understand? They were worshiping the Queen of Heaven and also Tammuz. You understand? That's why they were whipping for Tammuz. You understand? Because they were worshiping that same family. Give me a little bit more on the article about the question. Also, SHALAM.
Come. The child's name was Tammuz,
Mm-hmm.
which she claimed was the reincarnated Nimrod.
All right. So hold on a second. So according to Christian, who is Christ?
It's lucky, other one.
Go ahead.
According to Christians, they call Christ God or the Most High.
God. Just like exactly Nimrod was God, the son God. Now she conceived a child. You understand? Because of the race of Nimrod. Now that child is Nimrod as well. This is where the old concept come from. Understand? This is where the old concept that Christ is God. Understand? It goes back to Tammuz. It goes back to Semiramis. It goes back to Nimrod. Understand? That's where the whole concept comes from. Understand? It's not something new. It's something old, which is not in the Bible as saying that Christ is God. Christ is not God. You understand? Christ is the Son of God, just like you and I, we are the sons and daughters of God. You understand? When I say daughters, for those that are the sisters in the chat, all right? So this is who we are, and this is what who Christ were, who Christ is. You understand? But Christ is not God, and Christ is not immaculate conceived. Understand? We'll see it in a few. Bring me back on that article, by question.
Come. After the scattering that occurs at the Tower of Babel, this story of the miraculous conception of this child disseminated throughout the world and led to the rise of the various birth, death, rebirth cults that are
Understand?
littered through history.
So now this is where you have the story, just like our sister Badger just put it. This is where you have the story of all these other religion, nations, ideology, philosophy, how you want to put it, understand, theology. But this is where it comes from. This is where it comes from, you understand? There's a child that was born, that child is a God, then that you understand the God died, now you understand the child is the God himself and everything and so on. This is where it all comes from. Christ is not God. Understand? Christ is the Son of God. Christ is the first creation of God, but Christ is not God. Christ is, you understand, is at the right end of God, standing at the right end of God. So how can he be God when he's standing at the right end of God? That's in the Bible, Christian. Christ is at the right hand of God, standing there. When God is on the throne, Christ is staying in his right hand. You understand? So he cannot be God. He's different than God. He's something else but God. You understand? And he's not immaculate conceived. Immaculate conceived, immaculate conceived, especially like Christians say Christ is God, right? Christians claim that Christ is God. Well, if Christ is God, you telling me God impregnated Mary and gave birth to Christ? So God impregnated, you understand? That's incest as well. Understand? So the child is the father as well. The child is his own father. Understand? Oh, the Christ, just like there's a post on Facebook. You understand? Slaki, but Sister Bob, when I had shared the post, you understand? It mean when you see the white Jesus planting a plant into the a vagina, Slaki, you understand? Well, you see, you understand? So Christ is his own father, right? That doesn't make sense. That doesn't make sense. Now, it's time for us to wake up and realize what's going on. These things are not in the Bible, but these things are the tradition of
Right.
the other pagan nations. Understand? All right, you could finish up the article, then we go to the verses.
Come. These mystery religions of future generations adopted different names for Semiramis and her child Tammuz.
Voila. Now you got it. You understand? Now you see where the Osiris, Isis, you understand, Horus come from. Now you seeing exactly where the, you understand, the so-called, you understand, heathen, the pagan, you understand, God, where they come from. They are there in different names. You understand? The only ones that have something different are us Israelites. The only one that worship the Most High, you understand, the real creator of heaven and earth is us Israelites. You understand, that had those laws, that had, you understand, the real knowledge of God. Every other people were worshiping, you understand, that family right there. Still today, Christian, you celebrate that family right there. You're gonna celebrate Christmas. You put your Christmas light and everything. You celebrating it. You celebrating Nimrod, Semiramis, and Tammuz. That's who you celebrating it. You understand? That's who you commemorating, man. While the Bible it tells you that's an abomination. In Ezekiel it tells you, come and God telling Ezekiel, come and look at the abomination of the people, man. If you say that Christ is immaculately conceived, you give power exactly to that same worship. you're worshiping exactly that family. If you say Christ is God, you're exactly doing the same thing as well. Understand? Go ahead. Let's finish the article.
Come. According to another tradition, Semiramis was the daughter of a goddess. She had mermaid-like features with the head of a woman and the body of a fish.
You understand? In Haiti, they call it Simbi. You understand? The Simbi are the water spirit that are like mermaid. And according to the Voodoo tradition, those spirits were the ones, you understand, that kept Moses faith and safe on the water, on the Nile. Understand? A bunch of nonsense. You understand?
Right.
Those, even that story, even those things, this is where it comes from. Now, this is where you get your mermaids from. This is where you got all these things. You understand now? You understand, like, and those type of stories and mermaid and Aquaman. You understand? This is the root of Aquaman right there. You understand? That family right there. You understand? It's necessary to understand the Bible, not only the Bible, but to understand history. Understand, to read history and see what went on. Like this, you go understand and see what's going on today. Understand? Just like God said, there's nothing new under the sun. Understand? We worshiping the same. Understand? We understand, worshiping the same thing as our forefathers were worshiping, which was not God, and had nothing to do with God. Thank God for, and this is why we say thank God for coming in General YAHANNA, right? Because now we become scholars. Now we
Right.
know exactly what we were doing. Now we know exactly, you understand, from right and wrong. Now we know how to serve God. Now we know not to do these type of things that you Christians are doing. Understand? All right. Was that in on the article?
Salakia, that's the end of that paragraph, sir.
All right. So, all right. You could read the last paragraph. Double question.
Come on, sir. It says, so exactly who is Semiramis?
Mhm.
Much speculation surrounds Semiramis throughout history. However, the image of a mother holding her child is pervasive throughout nearly every culture throughout history. This gives some credence to the import of Semiramis and her place in history.
So this gives credibility that she existed, right? This gives credibility that you understand. And where can we find that story as well? Where can we find them in the Bible? We see
Right.
exactly that she was called the Queen of Heaven. They were making cake for her. They were making fish, making cupcakes for her, just like during Easter. You understand? There's a picture that we showed during Easter, right? Where you see a goddess Semiramis Ishtar with a bunch of eggs on her. You understand? Like she has a bunch of like eggs that look like titties and everything. But you understand?
Right.
That's where it comes from with the eggs and everything. Understand? We see Lady Gaga, you understand, come out of an egg and everything. Where you think they got it from? Right there, that story. You understand? So not only it gives credibility that she existed, but it gives credibility to the Bible as well. Because the Bible talks
Right.
against, you understand, the Queen of Heaven. So if the Queen of Heaven didn't exist, why is it in every culture? Why Tammuz? Can you understand? We could see Tammuz. You understand? That is in Egyptian history under another name. Why can't we find in the Greek and Roman history that's not under another name? That those stories give credibility to the Bible as well. You understand? Bible question, please. Read me the last paragraph after this one. Bible
Uh,
question.
Salakia, I don't want. It's just the last part here is just saying that there's a quick video.
Before the video, after the American liberty and connection to Semiramis, just that paragraph right there.
So it just says in this brief video commentary, Jerry Robinson shares an interesting find while researching the intellectual and mythic origins of the American Republic.
Mhm.
In particular, a connection between Semiramis and the Statue of Liberty.
My goodness. My goodness. So, Lady Liberty. Lady, who is Lady Liberty? The Statue of Liberty. Who that does? Who is it representing?
Salakia Adawan.
Go ahead.
America, the mother of America.
Come, but the answer is right there in front of you. That's not the answer I'm looking for. The answer, it's right there in front of you. It's in the last paragraph of Sisha one just read. Who is she representing? That's in the Statue of Liberty.
Kawakan. Salakia Adawan. Semiramis.
Right.
Semiramis. You understand? Semiramis. They were called on different names. And not only that, Akim, the horse that sit on many waters. That's a sign as well. You understand? And the Bible said there's a horse that sit on many waters. You understand? That's a sign. This is why we in Egypt again. This is why we're in Babylon again. This is why we, you understand? All this civilization back in the day, we just like them today. You understand? We worshiping the same goddamn thing. They're worshiping the same goddamn thing. Freemason worship the same goddamn thing. Christian worship the same goddamn thing. Voodoo people, you understand? Witchcraft, warlocks, and witches worship the same goddamn thing. In some part, in witchcraft, Semiramis is also called Venus. You understand? She's also called, like, for the new age and everything. She's also called, you understand, Mother Earth. You understand? That's all the same thing those people are worshiping and everything. Meanwhile, they don't even know that they're worshiping the same thing. You understand? But that's where it comes from. All right? All right, let's get to the precepts. Somebody bring me to Hebrew chapter 2, verse 7. You understand? Now you're
Kawakan.
gonna see. Now you see exactly where it comes from. Now you see where, you understand, that idea of being immaculately conceived comes from. Now let's see what the Bible says about Christ. Let's see if Christ is immaculately conceived. Let's see if Christ didn't have no physical father or earthly father, just like you Christian want to put it. You understand? You're gonna celebrate, you understand, Christmas, and you understand that Joseph was in the, you understand, the father of Mary. Meanwhile, Joseph, you understand, was suffering with Mary, was dead, you understand, throughout the childbirth with Mary. You understand? It's not gonna be the father. Understand? That's what you Christians don't understand about it. And this is why the ISUPK is a necessary place for every black Hispanic and Native American, for you to learn the truth about this Bible, for you to wake up. Because Christ said it the best: the truth shall set you free. Now you know
Right.
the truth. You won't celebrate Christmas no more. You won't celebrate Thanksgiving no more. You won't celebrate and those type of feasts no more. And neither you will have those mentality and you understand, philosophy in your mind anymore. Why? Because now you have the truth. Now you could walk like somebody that is in the truth. This is what the ISUPK is necessary for in our community. You understand? Well,
There's the book of Hebrews, chapter 2, verse 17. We're
16. Go ahead, 16 first.
Hebrews chapter 2, verse 16.
Go ahead.
For verily he took not on him the nature of angels.
What does that mean? Wait there, wait there. What does that mean?
Salaki, I'm not sure I don't want.
Give it a try. Give it a try. It's right there in front of you. Huh? We talk and go with the topic we're going. You understand? We have. Understand? Immaculate conception is demonic. Now it's telling you that Christ didn't take the nature of the angels. What does that mean? Give it a try.
So like it wasn't conceived by so-called Holy Spirit.
So what is the nature of the angels? Do they have fathers?
So like I don't know. What was that?
Do the angels have earthly fathers?
Lot of one.
Do the angel need, you understand, to come up from a sexual relationship or sexual, you understand, encounter?
Lot of one.
Exactly. So Christ didn't take the nature of the angels. You understand? The angel doesn't need sex to be you understand, to be in operation, to be in existence. They don't need sex. We do. You understand? Christ didn't take the nature of the angels. Go ahead.
But he took on him the seed of Abraham.
Wait a minute. So he took on what? He took on what?
But he took on him the seed of Abraham.
The seed of Abraham. What is the seed? What is the
So
seed?
like I don't. He was conceived through sex.
Yes, yes, but what is the seed? What is the seed? Another word for seed.
Salaki, if I may.
Hold on, please. Hold on, let the trooper, you understand, work it out, you understand?
Con,
A little
con,
bit. Understand? What is the seed, trooper?
Not sure I don't want.
Officer Zabajo, you got it.
Salaki, if I may, Trooper Bracchiale, right? When we hear seed, the best thing to do is think about like how a tree is made, right? A tree needs seed. That life came from the seed, right? So the seed would be the semen that comes from a man. That man had to shoot that semen into a female, and that's how Christ was born. Because Joseph he turned
Exactly.
fire to Mary.
Exactly. You understand? It comes from the seed. Think of it like an apple. Now I know there's some apple that doesn't have seed, that be the GMO, just like the grapes, just like you understand the oranges. A lot of them don't have seed nowadays because of the their oppressor, the damn devil, right? But think of it, you understand, as the seed of an apple. The seed of the apple, you plant it on the earth, it produces an apple tree. You understand? The seed is the sperm, the semen. You understand? We were brought, you understand? We were made from the seed of our father. We were made from the sperm of our father. You understand? That's in the Bible. So the seed is the sperm. So when it say Christ, you understand, was brought from the seed of Abraham, that means it came from the line of Abraham. But a question I got to you, Trooper Barakala, who carries the seed?
Man carries the seed.
Man carried the seed. Also, somebody will get it to you. Understand? Man carried the seed. So for Christ to be from the seed of Abraham, he has to come from a man that comes from the seed of Abraham. You understand? He has to come from a man like, you understand? You understand? So when you give a child, you understand? When you put that seed into a woman, that's your family. That's, you understand, the progeniture of your ancestors. Because you understand, you carry that's the seed of your forefather. You understand? Keep on going. You will keep on going with the verse.
Verse 17. Wherefore in all things is behoved
Wait,
him to
wait,
be
wait,
made
wait,
like
wait, wait,
unto.
wait, wait. Take it easy. Take it easy. Baba question. Take it easy. Now repeat that first part about question.
Wherefore in all things is behoved him to be made
No,
like
no,
unto
no,
his
no, no, no,
brethren.
no, no, no. So, soldier, yeah, you saying in all things, in some things.
Wherefore in all things.
Wait, 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 wait. But you know what, Trooper Bakia? There's a difference, Trooper Bakia. You saying all things, but there's certain things over there. There's certain things over here. You understand? There's a difference between them. Go ahead again.
Wherefore in all things.
In all things, man. In all things. And what happened in all things, which means in everything. What happens? Keep on going.
It behoved him to be made like unto his brethren.
It behoove him. What does that mean to behoove? The word behoove, the verb behoove. What does that mean? I.S.U.P.K, we also in grammar school. You're gonna learn more vocabulary than anything than your own school lessons like it.
Right.
Man, we learning vocabularies and everything. I mean, you gotta put it in understanding sentences and everything. I started saying behoove and
Yeah.
everything. Understand what I said? You understand? It behoove me. You understand? You understand? So what does the word behoove mean?
Salake means to be appropriate or necessary.
Extremely important. Extremely important. You understand? It was extremely important for him to be made unto like what?
Like unto his brethren.
Like to unto his brethren. Who's the brethren of Christ?
Salake on the men of the nation of Israel.
You and I. You and I. Black, Hispanic, Native Indian. We are the brethren of Christ.
Right.
You understand? So you understand? It behooved Christ. It was extremely important for Christ to be made in everything like us, like you and I. So do you have a father, please? So like a soldier, do you have a father?
Khan Wakan.
So now, if it behooved Christ to be made just like you in everything, did Christ have a father?
Salake.
Now, if it behooved Christ to be made just like you, since you are the father, right? It behooved Christ to be made just like you in everything. Did Christ have a father?
Khan Wakan.
You understand? It's right there. It's right there in the verse. But Christians do not read the Bible. Christians don't know the Bible. Christians just go to church, sing hallelujah. It's all about music. It's all about feeling raptured. It's all about, you understand, feeling an amazing joy and content, feeling the ecstasy, feeling overwhelmed. You understand? That's what Christianity does for you. But when you sit down and read the Bible, you see something else. You see that Immaculate Conception is not in the Bible. Go ahead, Officer Shawan.
So Salakia Adawan. And if I
Go ahead.
may, well,
Go ahead.
something that's so heavy about this verse is that so many Christians are going around saying they can't be like Christ. He's a better man than me. He's different. He's better. He doesn't go through the same things I went through. You know what I'm saying? Like they make it and set it out to be like it's impossible to be like him. You know what I mean? Like he walked on water. He did all these miracles, all these miraculous things. You understand? And they put him on this in this place of it's impossible for me to be like him. You understand? But to understand that he had like the same flesh that we had. He came from a father and a mother just like we did. He grew up in the ghettos like we did. You understand? Like in the same world that we grew up in, and he was able to follow the Most High in everything. Salakia.
But this, Officer SHALAM said is exactly powerful. Powerful. And you're going to read it in the verse next. You understand? What Officer SHALAM said, you understand? Christian things, you understand? Well, you know what? Christ was perfect, but I cannot be perfect. Christ told you to be perfect.
Right.
Christ told us to, you understand, be ye perfect, like your Father is perfect. Christ reached that perfection. You know why? And you know why he told you not, you understand, to be perfect? Because he knew you could. But being, you understand, with the mind state, you know what? Christ didn't have a father. He was immaculately conceived. You understand? Now you think, you understand, you cannot be like Christ. You can be, you understand, you can follow Christ. And it's going to be the next part of the verse. Go ahead,
that he might be a merciful and faithful high priest in
read
things
that part again.
pertaining to God,
Read that part again, Bible question.
that he might be a merciful and faithful high priest.
Wait there. Why is it saying that Christ had to, you understand, be like us in every way, to be a faithful and merciful high priest? Why? Also, Shawan gave it to you.
It's lucky I'm not sure.
Also, Shawan just gave it to you. All right. So now, let me give you an example, right? Let's say Christ was immaculately conceived. Now, here I am in Judgment Day. And you're like, well, you know what? You had Christ for example, like a role model.
Right.
Now, Christ wrong. Would I be wrong if I say, God, you know what? He cannot, you made him directly. You understand? He didn't suffer like, you understand, like me. You understand?
Right.
He wasn't born like me. He was born, you understand, with special abilities, you understand, from birth. He was born specially. He wasn't born like me. How can he understand what I go through? Would I be wrong if I say that to God?
Khan.
Would I would I be wrong if I say that to God? You say Khan, right?
Khan.
God, I understand. So you saying I would be wrong if I say to God, well, you know what? If God said, well, look at Christ, you had him as an example, and I tell Christ, I tell God that, well, Christ didn't have no father like me. You don't know what I'm suffering. He was made just like the angels. He didn't have no father. You understand? You came down and raptured that woman. You understand? Made her feel the rapture and everything. He was born. He's not like me. You understand? I wouldn't be wrong. I wouldn't be wrong because that's just. That's a perfect argument. Understand? We say the same argument with the police. I'm gonna show you something. Now, when the white man comes in our neighborhood, what do we say? We say they should not be in our neighborhood because they don't know how we live. They are the father and they are the mother. You understand? They were born just like us. But the fact that, you understand, they were brought up in the same way as us, they should not be in our neighborhood and making laws and being arresting, you understand, brothers and sisters. You understand? Because they don't know what we're suffering under. They don't know how we feel. They don't know, you understand, when you don't have nothing. You don't know when you have roaches and rats in your house and you got to go sell drugs to take your mother outside of that house. They don't know how it feels, you understand, when you're on child support. You understand? And you got, you understand, the last money of your pocket of that child, she will buy purses. She will buy, you understand, stilettos. She will buy, you understand, everything to please another man instead of taking care of your child. You understand? They don't know how it feels. So we say they should not be in our communities. We should have, you understand, black people that grew up in our communities to be amongst us, you understand, as police. Well, you know what? The same thing with Christ. If Christ didn't have no father, he cannot understand my pain. I had a father. You had a father. You understand? If Christ didn't have a father and was, you understand, made just like me, that means he has special. He was made in a special way from the start. He had like a golden plate I am today because he cannot understand what it's like to be a me who was born of a father that has to live in the ghetto. You understand? Who was born of a father and the father just left. Now I'm stuck with a mother. I don't have no father figure. He doesn't know what it's like. But you know what? The good news is the good news that will set you free, that will set you understand Christian free, is that Christ has a father like you. Christ had a father like me. Christ had a father like you understand, like Officer Shawan, like Officer Zabadja, like Officer Aban. So you know what? Not only he had a father, but in all things, in every way, he was made like us, which means Christ had the possibility to lie. Christ had the urges, you understand, to the same urges that we have, Christ had them. The same way I used to smoke weed, I used to sell drugs. The same way Christ had those desires, you understand, those feelings, you understand, those the possibility to have those feelings inside of them. The same way somebody lies, you understand, Christ had the possibility to have that feeling inside of them. But you know what the good news is? He overcame that. He overcame all these things that was outside of the law. And now he's a faithful high priest. He's a
Right.
merciful high priest. Now he could say, you know what? I know what you're going through to provide Kala. I know what it's like to be you. I know what you're going through, Officer Shawan. I know what you're going through. I know what it's like to be you, Officer Badger. I know, you understand, about your suffering. Now Christ could say that because he was made in every way like us. This verse right there is powerful. Understand?
All right.
Understanding it is powerful as well. Because now we could say, you understand? Now we don't have no excuse in judgment day. Now God says, well, look at Christ. He did all the laws. We can say Christ was made differently than I am made. So it doesn't count. Like, he was made just like you and I. You understand? Now we're gonna
Yeah,
have
well,
to answer for it. Understand? Now we're gonna have to answer for what we've done. Now we're gonna have an answer. You understand? Answer to like, you know what? I'm sorry, Mosiah. I'm sorry, Yahweh. I was weak. I'm sorry, I the one. Understand? I'm sorry, my lock. I was weak. But you understand? Can you find a way to forgive me or whatever? You understand? But we cannot say that Christ was different than us in every way. Just like Officer Shawan just said, he was in the ghetto. I don't know what if you know like the birth of well, you know the birth of Christ. He was born in the stable. Understand? He was born in the stable with animals. You understand? Imagine this. The animals
Right.
are they're pissing right there. You understand? They're taking you understand number two right there. Christ was born in the middle of that. You understand?
God.
He was born in the middle of that. What's more ghetto than that? What's more ghetto than that? We living with roaches and rats. You understand? In New York, you got the super rats. We got the master splinter in New York. You understand?
God.
But you know what? Christ was born in the middle of manures, man. You
Right.
understand? Christ was born in the middle of piss, man. You understand? Christ was born in the middle, you understand, of filthiness around him. So he knows our suffering. He knows our poverty. You understand? This is why this verse is powerful, I think. You understand? And this is why the verse is the first go to verse when they talk about Immaculate Conception. Go to that verse. You understand? Go to that verse and you will destroy that Christian faith all automatically. You understand? Like, oh shit, it's a lie. Oh snap. Understand? Christ was born in everything, just like me. Understand? But the Christianity will make you believe other things. Why? Because Christianity does not venerate Christ, do not worship God, but worship who? Semiramis, the Son of God. This is why they go to church on Sunday. Understand? Because of the Son God. Understand? Go back here. Let's come back. Officer Shawan, do you want to take away what's that?
Come, sir. It's Hebrews chapter 2 and verse 17.
What?
Wherefore in all things it behooved him to be made like unto his brethren, that he might be a merciful and faithful high priest in all things pertaining to God,
Well,
to make reconciliation for the sins of the people.
so now Christ has a job, a mission to do. Being a faithful high priest, he would have, you understand, to go through the same thing the people are going. But you know what? He's faithful to God. He's faithful to God, he won't sin. He's faithful to God, he will keep that baton. Understand? He will run with the baton, just like the race where you got to give the baton, and the guy, you understand, running with the baton until you win the race. Well, Christ hold that baton and won the race. You understand? He was perfect. He didn't sin. The same way you have the ability not to sin. The same way you have the ability, you understand, not to commit crimes. The same way you have the ability to become perfect, just like Christ was perfect, and just like God is perfect, man. You understand? But in all things, Christ was made just like you and I. In all things, Christ was made like every black, Hispanic, and Native Indian. Matter of fact, Christ was a black man. Christ is a nigger. You understand? Christ is made just like you and I, brother and sister. Realize this. Christ is a black man that was brought up in the ghetto, that was born in a stable. You understand? Not in a hotel, not in the hospital, in a stable with animals, with cows. You understand? With asses, donkeys, horses, whatever that was there. That's where he was born.
Right.
That's ghetto, I think. And after that, you see that, you understand, even his family was on the run. His family was on the run because they feared that you understand, the ruler, Herod. They feared Herod, I mean, the fact that Herod wanted to kill Christ. They were on the run, flee to Egypt. Understand? Us black people, we living on the run. I know a couple of my family in the United States. You understand? They're always on the run. Come back from out of jail. You understand? They get free. They're on the run. They committed a crime. They're on the run. You understand? So we always was in the run. So Christ was living just like us. Christ understand our pain. Christ understand what we went through. Christ understand what we go through, man. You understand? That's why in everywhere of injustice, God is a God of justice. When I was fall. And imagine this, Akim. Imagine this. Saying Christ didn't have a father. That gives root exactly, you understand, to downgrade the black man. That gives root to downgrade the black man. You know why? Because now you have, you understand, a black Christ, but there's no black father.
Right.
You understand? Like a black man cannot produce the greatest man on this earth that ever lived this earth. That's what you're telling me? He has to be some type of alien. He has to be some type of angel. A black man like you and I cannot, you understand, you understand, produce the best man that ever walked this earth. Yes, he did. Christ is the son of Joseph. Christ is the son of God, just like every Israelite is the son of God. You understand? Every black, Hispanic, and Native Indian man are the sons of God. And every black, Hispanic, and Native Indian woman are the daughters of God. You understand? All right. You could drop that. You could bring it to Romans chapter 1, verse 3.
Come. This is Romans chapter 1 and verse 3.
Go ahead.
Concerning his son, Jesus Christ our Lord,
You understand? Go ahead.
which was made of the seed of David.
Well, here you have it again. Here you have it again, the seed of David. Now, before, you understand, in Hebrew chapter 2, verse 16, it says the seed of Abraham. Now, can Christ be the seed of two different men? That's a question. That's a good question to ask the Christian. Now, you said the seed of David. Can Christ be from the seed of two different men? In a Christian mind, it would mean like, you know what? Well, that's the son of David and that's the son of Abraham. You understand? Well, they were in there, is Christ's literal father, so they don't understand what's going on. Well, that's because Christ came from the line of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. David came from the line of Abraham. You understand? That's what it says right there. And how is David from the line of Abraham? Because of his father. How is Joseph from the line of David? In Matthew 1, you could see it. Because
Right.
of his father. Because of his father. It's simple, Christian. Immaculate conception, you see where it was. I think we have a Russian, somebody that's Russian in the chat. I think that's a Russian troll. Understand? Matter of fact, even the Russian, by saying the Russian over here, that's the Russian writing and everything. Even the Russian know that Christ is the black man that marries the black woman. Even the Russian know this, man. So all you Russian in Canada, why you not telling the truth? If you want revolution, if you want real war against the West, come with this truth.
Right.
Go tell Putin I said that. You want real war? Tell the truth. Tell black people are the real Jews. You guys know it. Stop being a damn hypocrite. Stop being a damn devil and the damn liar. Tell the truth. Black people are the real Jews. Christ would have been exactly one of you guys. And Christ had a father. Joseph is the father of Christ. You understand? Well, you know what? Russians, even if you don't say it, it will come to light. And it's coming to light. We know it. We know about the Russian icons. We know about, you understand, your Orthodox churches and everything. With you understand, black Christ inside, where you have Russian Orthodox priests that worship a black Jesus. We know about it. You understand? So even if you don't want to say it, it's gonna come to light to the whole world. But the thing is, people will realize why you've been a spy in America and not able to say that. You want to be James Bond so bad. You understand? You look at James Bond, you want to be James Bond. The Russian James Bond. Well, I tell the truth, God damn it. Say black people are the real Jews. How about that? You understand? That's a real work for that's a real cut of work for a spy. It's a lie here. You understand? It's a lie here. You understand? But we gotta hype up those heathens so they can tell the truth sometimes. Show them that we know. You understand? But this is what the Bible says. This is, you understand? Christ is from the seed of David. Just like Joseph was from the seed of David because of his father. Just like Joseph's father was from the seed of David because of his father. So if Christ is from the seed of David, that's because of his father. You understand? Now, can we see that on?
Lucky out of
And
one. What was our last question?
somebody bring me to Revelation 22 verse 16, and somebody else bring me to Luke chapter 2 verse 4.
Come on, concert. It's the book of Revelation, chapter 22, verse 16.
Go ahead.
I, Jesus, have sent mine angel to testify unto you these things in the churches. I am the root and the offspring of David.
Wait. I am the root and the offspring of David. What does that mean?
Salaki out of
Lucky
one.
out of one.
All right. Supervisor, you got it.
Being the offspring of David means comes from the seed of David.
Damn right. But what the root?
Salaki out of what was that?
What does the verse? Why does the verse say the root?
Salaki out of one. I'm not sure.
Officer Shawan, you want to get it?
It's Lucky out of one. He's from the lineage of David.
Come. Why say I'm the root?
Salakia
What
said.
have the family tree, right? Go ahead.
Oh, concert. Salakia, I was going to say the root is like a metaphor for a family tree.
Come. Understand? But he's saying I am the root and the offspring of David. Why he's saying is the root? Because now you have the tree, but before the tree goes forth, you has to go. You understand? You have to. The root has to be established. So why he says I'm the root? I am the root and the offspring.
Salakia out of one.
Go ahead.
Is this speaking about David's son?
That's talking about Christ. That's talking about Christ. But why is saying I am the because the verse is saying I am the root and the offspring of David. So he's the root of David. To be the root of somebody means what?
Salaki, he is the
To be the root
beginning.
of the beginning of David, which means it has to be the father of David, right? Or the maker of David, right?
Khan.
So what does that mean?
Salakia, sir.
Go ahead.
Is this kind of like a precept for he was the first Adam and the last?
Damn right. Give him a hand. Give him a hand. Give him a hand. I mean, Christ was the first Adam. Christ was the first man. You understand? That God gave those laws. Christ was Adam. You understand? Christ was the first man. He was the man. And not only that, Christ was the first, you understand, created being. You understand? To even go further. But that saying Christ was Adam. David come from Adam. Adam come from Adam, right? So Christ is the root of David, which means David had to come from Christ. But he's also the offspring of David, which means he comes from the seed of David as well. You understand? It's right there in the Bible. You understand? That's why I love the Bible and I love the UPK because being in the UPK, you could see things in the Bible. You like asking your question. Wait a minute. He's saying it's the root and the offspring. Well, so that means it's the root of David, which means it comes before David, but it's also the offspring of David. What comes before David was Adam. That's that. Not only that, we could go even further, was Isaac as well. That's the son of Abraham. You understand? So going on and on until Christ. So now this is Christ telling you he was Adam. I was Adam. I'm the root of David. I'm the root of mankind. You understand? Just like the Bible
God.
says, the first of all creatures. But you understand? In him were all things were made. You understand? In him and for him were all things made. You understand? So Christ was Adam. You understand?
God.
But at the same time, Christ also was the son of David.
Right.
Christ was also Solomon. You understand? The offspring in the child. You understand? So Christ is also Solomon. That's another precept as well that tells you that Christ is Adam. Go ahead, Officer Shawan, you can finish that.
Sir. I am the root and the offspring of David, and the bright and morning star.
Wait, Officer Shawan, I'm gonna cut you there because according to Christian, the morning star is Satan.
God.
Understand? Christian think the morning star is Satan. Wait, hey, that's Lucifer right there. Some Christian here told me like Christ is Lucifer. Why are you saying that? You understand? I didn't even get the idea. I mean the mentality. And they were like, well, Christ is the morning star. Lucifer is the morning star. I was like, God
God.
damn. Oh, all right. That's how you like. That's what's in your mind. You understand? But you understand? It's funny to see the Christian not understand it. The morning star means like a bright star. You understand? Somebody that's shining. Denzel Washington is a morning star. You understand?
Yeah.
Who might you call? You understand? Will Smith is a morning star. It's just somebody you understand that has popularity, that's high up there. Everybody knows that's a morning star. So like you understand? And also in Isaiah 14. And sky. I mean, that was talking about the king or the kingdom of Babylon. You understand? It has nothing to do with Satan. You understand? It has nothing to do with Satan, but not being in this truth. You won't understand the Bible, and you think that the morning star means Satan, and that's Lucifer, that's the angel Satan. So Christ is Satan. Some people even depict Christ. You understand? All dark. You understand with the horns. You understand? Like you understand? Like oh Jesus and whatever. You understand? White Jesus with the horns. Before even you understand, I.S.U.P.K was saying the white man is the devil. They were doing that, like making like the white Jesus looking like demonic because of that verse right there because he's the morning star, so that has to be Satan himself. Understand? Christ is not Satan. It's just that before because people don't understand the Bible. They are not in the school. Understand? So they don't have knowledge of the Bible. And this is why this school is important for you to understand the real truth of the Bible. Like this, the truth will set you free. Now you know that. Understand? Now you know exactly that Christ is Adam. Now you know exactly Christ come before David while being the son of David, while being the offspring of David. You understand? All right, drop that. Pop, 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 pop. Barakah, do you have Luke chapter 2, verse 4? Uh, Barakah, you have Luke chapter 2, verse 4. And also, child 1, get me John chapter 1, verse 45. Number 5.
Okay.
And we're probably going to have a part 2 for Immaculate Conception coming in the time of Christmas. Because there's so many verses I want to give you and some you understand, strong and concordance and everything. So I probably won't have time right today, but we'll break it down even more.
Okay,
Go ahead, Supervisor.
this is the book of Luke, chapter 2, verse 4.
Go ahead.
And Joseph also went up from Galilee out of the city of Nazareth
Mhm.
into Judea unto the city of David,
Mhm.
which is because he was of the house and lineage of David.
Wait, wait. So now we have the context of everything. You understand? Because why?
Because he was of the house and lineage of David.
Because Joseph was from the lineage of David. Now Christ had to come from the offspring, had to be the offspring of David to be able to sit on the throne, to be able to be king of Israel. Understand? To be able to be the savior, the Mashiach. You understand? Christ had to come from the seed. You understand? The lineage, the seed. You understand? The sperm. You understand? Of David. David. And who was from the house of David? Joseph. Can we find that Mary was from the house of David in the Bible?
Wow.
Uh-uh. Nowhere in the Bible it tells you Mary was from the house of David. Now, in the I.S.U.P.K, we don't say that Mary was from the house of Levi. Why? Because it is not in the Bible. It doesn't say in the Bible, we're not going to say it. But Mary will be closer to be from the house of Levi. Why? Because Elizabeth was her cousin, right?
God.
That's John the
Con,
Baptist.
con,
John the Baptist's father was a Levite, right?
Right.
So John the Baptist himself, which will be the nephew of Mary, was a Levite. You understand? So now we see exactly that Mary was like closer to Levite than Judah, the tribe of Judah. You understand? But we're not. It's not saying the Bible doesn't say she wasn't from the house of Levi. We're not gonna say it because with the I.S.U.P.K, we don't add up, we don't add nor take away from the Bible. But she
Right.
will be all closely from the house of Levi, from what we could understand of the Bible. Now, the Catholic Church actually have this like a legend about the story of Mary, which is she was from the house of Levi, and she was born of a man named Joachim. You understand? Joachim, you understand? That was a high priest as well. I think it was, if I remember of the legend in our Catholic Church, because I was part of the Catholic Church. I was brought up to be a priest back in the day. You understand? So it was a high priest, if I remember, high priest Joachim. So that according to the Catholic Church, Mary's father was, you understand, which was a Levite. But since it's not in the Bible, we're not gonna say it, we're not gonna speculate. But she will be closer to be from the house of Levi than the house of Judah. But the Bible doesn't say Mary is from the house of Judah. It says though, Joseph is from the house of Judah. You understand? So if Christ is from the house of Judah and from the house of David, that's because of Joseph. That's because of his father. Understand? Now we see in the Bible that Christ is the son of Joseph. In all things, he was made unto just like his brethren. You understand? And every one of his of Christ's brethren have a father. Understand? All right, you could drop that. Also, Shawan, can you bring me to the verse that I asked you about the question?
Come on, concert. So the book of John, chapter 1 and verse 45. Philip findeth Nathanael and saith unto him, We have found him of whom Moses in the law and the prophets did write, Jesus of Nazareth, the son of Joseph.
Wait. The Immaculate conceived.
The son of Joseph.
The adoptive son of Joseph.
The son of Joseph.
The son of Joseph. Right there. I mean, black on white. Right now. You understand? We're breaking verses after verses. We gave you history. You understand? We gave you history. We give you, understand, verses after verses that turn your, understand, that will turn your neck. You understand? Just like the, you understand? Just like the movies where you see that, I mean, the little dog turning his neck, you know, all around. That's the Christian right now, watching this class. You know, go ahead, please.
So lock out of what, and something you had said, in the ISUPK, we're not going to teach that Mary is a Levite because we don't see that it says it, right?
Right,
We're not going to add to the scriptures like the Bible says.
right,
However, Christians are going to go and add and say this means that Joseph was the stepfather, and
right,
we don't see
right,
stepfather in the Bible. So
right,
lock you.
right. The son of Joseph. You understand? Understand? And it's right there. You understand? It's right there. The son of Joseph. You can go. You understand? You can go around this Christian. You understand? Christ is not immaculately conceived. Immaculate conception come from a whore, come from a hoe, an African hoe on top of that. You understand?
Right.
Dirty, disgusting African hoe. You understand? They were African back in the day. They were Hamites. They're still Hamites today, but you understand? They didn't have the labor of African back in the day. You understand? During the time of the Sumerians, that she was a Hamite hoe. You understand? So that's who you listen to right now today. Saying Christ was immaculately conceived. You're giving power, you understand, and power and elevation to an African, you understand, a Hamite hoe, a Hamite whore, you understand? And a disgusting Hamite, smelling bad, you understand, smelling bad and everything, you understand, Hamite whore. That's who you are elevating. Christ had a father. And the fact that Christ had a father, which means, just like Covenant General Yana said, black people, so like black people, every black household deserves a black father. You understand? If Christ had a father, give your child a father. You understand? Don't push that father away. You understand? Love the father of your child. You understand? If you're still with him. You understand? But that child needs his father. Just like Christ had a father. You understand? All right? Let me get a couple. And also, Shawan, you want to bring something else? Let me see which verse I want to give. I want to go into the definition of a virgin, but I think I'm gonna keep that for part two. I'm gonna keep that for part two. I'm gonna keep
Uh,
that for part two, like with the
other one. There's nothing I want to bring out. Nothing that wasn't brought out, sir.
come with something. Acts chapter 13, verse 22 and 23. Acts
It's the
chapter
book
13. Go ahead, go ahead.
sir. It's the book of Acts, chapter 13 and verse 22. And when he had removed him, he raised up unto them David to be their king, to whom also he gave testimony and said, I have found David, the son of Jesse, a man after mine own heart, which shall fulfill all my will.
Understand? So David was a man according to the Most High's heart. Why? Because David, every time David sinned, he realized it's wrong, then he changed his life. You understand?
Right.
He realized that I did wrong, I messed up, I effed up. You understand? Then he changed. You understand? He realized, and realizing you're wrong is a major part of waking up, of serving the Most High. You understand? Some people, you understand, a lot of us in the beginning, we will do things wrong. But realizing that we were wrong and take on from that and don't sin, it means a lot to the Most High, right? It makes the Most High happy. You understand? So that's why David was the man. You understand the man, a man according to the Most High's heart. But you understand, this is talking about Samuel when he went to find David. You understand? And Saul wasn't, you understand, out of the kingdom per se. You understand? God was choosing David during that time, right? So go ahead.
Come. Verse 23. Of this man's seed hath God, according to his promise, raised unto Israel a Savior, Jesus.
Now this verse says a lot as well. Of this man's seed,
Right.
sperm, that God raised unto, you understand, unto Yahshua. It was promised from back in Genesis. Christ was promised from back in Genesis. Genesis is about Christ. Understand? Understand? From Genesis to Revelation. Understand? Christ is promised to the house of Israel. Understand? And now we see Christ is not promised for other nations as well. Christ is not immaculately conceived, and Christ is not coming to save every race of people, but to Israel. Yasharala. Understand? And one thing y'all need to do for those people out there, I'm not even reading from my Bible. I'm reading from my notebook. Understand? Every verse that I brought in, understand? I got the verse written in the notebook. Understand? So let's say I don't have my Bible with me, I got my notebook. Understand? I know where to go. Understand? That's the I.S.U.P.K. Understand? So that's what we do. So now you see exactly Christ was born from David, from the seed of David. Once again, and there are many verses that say Christ is from the house of David. You understand? Christ is from the seed of David. Christ is from the, you understand, the house of the seed of Abraham, which is the father of David. And Christ is from Joseph, who is the son of David as well. Who is the son of Abraham? Who is the son of Jesse? You understand? And so on. Somebody about, all right, let's drop that in Matthew chapter 1.
Salakia other one, if I may.
Verse 1.
So
Go ahead, go ahead.
what verse?
Matthew chapter 1, verse 1. And also shall get Acts chapter 2, verse 30 about the question.
Come.
The book of Matthew, chapter 1, verse 1. The book of the generation of Jesus Christ, the son of David, the son of Abraham.
Go ahead, go ahead.
Matthew chapter 1, verse 1. The book of the generation of Jesus Christ, the son of David, the son of Abraham.
The son of David. Well, here we have again. You understand in the genealogy, you understand in the tree, family tree of Christ, you have again the son of David, the son of Abraham. Was David the son of Abraham?
Khan.
How come?
He's from the seed of Abraham.
Because of his father. Understand? As the answer. David wasn't from the line of Abraham because of David's father, Jesse. And Jesse was from the line of Abraham because of his father. And his father was from the line of Abraham. You look at who's from which line, who's from which, you understand, like nation or tribe because of their father. If Christ was a Judite, he was a Judite because of his father. If I'm a Levite, I'm a Levite because of my father. You are Benjamite because you are Benjamite according to your father. Understand? So you understand, the father determines your race. The father determines your identity and also your tribe. So if Christ is from the house of David, which means is a Judite, it is because of his father. And we see it exactly in John chapter 1 verse 45 with Joseph. You understand? when Christ is the son of Joseph, we see also that Joseph is from the line of David in Matthew 1, verse 20. You understand? We didn't get that yet. You understand? But we get that in next time. But we could see that Joseph was from the line of David. You understand? Which means Christ is from the line of David as well. All right? All right, last verse. Somebody bring me to Acts chapter 2, verse 30. Officer Sean 1. We got
Come, sir. Acts chapter 2 and verse 30. Therefore, being a prophet, and knowing that God had sworn with an oath to him that of the fruit of his
all right, all right,
loins.
all right. Who is that talking about? Who did God sworn to?
Salak, the other one.
Go ahead.
To King David.
David. You understand? Give him a hand. You understand? To King David. You understand? God swore to David. Why did God swear to David? Let's go and see.
Come. That God had sworn with an oath to him that of the fruit of his loins,
Wait there,
according to
wait
the
there, wait
flesh.
there, wait there, wait there. That of the fruit of his loins. What does that mean? Officer Shawan, don't answer. Don't answer yet. Officer Trooper Bakela, go ahead. What is the fruit of the loin of his loin mean?
His seed,
His seed. Give him a hand.
Yeah.
Understand? His seed, this sperm. Understand? You like when you see seed for the Christian, you always want to say sperm, all right? Like
Right.
this, that you understand, you go direct to it because they will say seed, and you understand that they will bring it, you understand, they will philosophize the seed, you understand? Why the seed means the sperm. You always want to say the sperm of David. All right.
Right.
So according, because Christ will come from the seed or the sperm of David. And who carries the sperm of David? Who did carry the sperm of David? Joseph. Just like I gave it to you earlier. Which means you carry that family tree on your side right now. Now you give birth to you put that seed into a woman, she give birth to a son or a daughter. That's from the seeds of your father. You understand? That's from the loins of your father. Because you are from the loins of your father. You understand? So that's what the Bible, that's how the Bible speaks, what the Bible means. But Christians will not understand this because they don't understand the Bible. All right?
Right.
Officer Sean 1, go ahead.
Come. Of his loins according to the flesh.
Wait there, wait there, wait there. What does that mean according to the flesh?
Salak, the other one.
Go ahead.
From a body.
From a body.
Flesh is like a metaphor for your body.
Exactly. According to the body, according to your flesh, according to you understand how you are made. That's where you come from the seed of David. You understand? That's what it's saying. You understand? Which means what? You are, you understand, physically from the line of David. You are
Right.
not, you understand? You wasn't, you understand? This is what a verse that would cut up. You understand? Well, Joseph was a adoptive father. You understand? He adopted Christ and everything. Nah, it says according to the flesh, which means in his body, he was from the seed of David. And Joseph, according to the flesh, was from the house of David. So Christ is the son of Joseph. And then once again, saying that Christ didn't have a father, knowing that Christ is a black man, is a shame. You hate black men.
Right.
You hate black men. And you saying that black men is shit. It's a lie. Because you understand, the greatest black man that ever lived on the earth, you're gonna say that he didn't have a father, that no black man could produce a child like this. What about the prophets that come before Christ? Didn't they come from a father? But God talked to them. Understand? They didn't have no father. You understand? While they talk to God, Elijah, you understand, was taken, you understand, was taken unto heaven. He went in the chariots and everything. He didn't have a father. You understand? You resurrected somebody. Elijah resurrected somebody in the Bible, right? He didn't have a father. The same thing Christ did with Lazarus. Lazarus. You understand? He didn't have a father. You understand? But Christ is greater than Moses. Christ is greater than Lazarus. Christ is greater, you understand, than Solomon. You understand? And you're going to say the greatest black man that ever lived or walked this earth didn't have a father. You know why you're saying that? Because inside of yourself, you hate black men. If you really believe that. I know a lot of you believe that because you were lied to. But if after this truth is being brought up in front of you and you still believe that, you really hate your father. That's what it means. You understand? Well, I'm gonna say something. You should make your father proud, just like you should make God proud. You understand? When your father failed, take from there, worship the Most High, do what you need to do, and don't forget to like and share. We're on Facebook. We're on, you understand, YouTube. Don't forget to like it. We have the closing of the feast of dedication. That being said, and that will conclude the class. I'll pass the class to Officer 50, Shah 1. Shalom, Israel. Hey, Shalom, sister. Go ahead, Officer Shah 1. You got it. It's a lot, Officer Shah 1. We can't hear you over here.
Well, Salakia, Adawan. Salakia, from the top, Salakia, these are the I.S.U.P.K security announcements. We are the I.S.U.P.K, start out of 1 West, 125th Street, Harlem, New York. Rule for new brothers and sisters. When a new brother or sister comes into the school, they are off limits for 6 months. They are to be saluted only. They are here to shed themselves of the world. If they need transportation, the teacher will arrange it. After 6 months, if a brother or sister has an interest in a particular person, he or she must get permission from the head to speak to a brother or sister. There's another 6 months in which the brother and sister will court each other. After this 6-month period, the brother and sister will get permission from the head to marry. Tithes, which is a commandment. Numbers 18, verse 21, and Malachi chapter 3, verses 8 to 10. Means tenth in the Hebrew, ma'ashra. 10% of every penny of any increase the Lord gives you. Give to Treasury Department or teacher. Priest fund. Free will offering for priests is not mandatory. Whatsoever amount you would like. Upcoming holy convocations. We're currently in the Feast of Dedication, also known as Hanukkah in the Hebrew, which is going on for a space of 8 days. We had opened it on November the 28th. That was last Sunday. Make sure you tune in with No Cowards Canada, I.S.U.P.K Canada on Facebook and YouTube for alerts regarding that feast. If anyone wants to be a trooper in the school, to start wearing all black. Boots, shirt, pant, headband, and scarf. With that said, we're going to give a courtesy salute to the brothers and a courtesy salute to the sisters. Men of Israel, I.M.A.J.M, which means stand. We're going to give a courtesy salute to the brothers, men of Israel, I.M.A.J.M Shabbat. I.M.A.J.M, Barak, Yahweh Shim Yahweh Barak Yad Yamatah. Turn and face the sisters. Sarah Akwathian. We're going to give a courtesy salute to the sisters. Men of Israel, I.M.A.J.M Shabbat. I.M.A.J.M, Barak, Yahweh Shamar Alakhan Mishim Yahweh Yad Yamatah. Class dismissed.
right. Hey, Sister Johnny's Bell Shalom. Y'all should talk about your shot.
Salaki, make sure you hit those sign out links before you leave the class. All right, shalom, Israel.
Yeah, to water, please, man. Understand? To water also.